just as suddenly as it had bolted away from them, the reindeer was sprinting towards them and then past them, its bell jangling madly against its chest.
What made it do that?
Lady Keris looked back after it. Look! Bors hefted his hammer and gestured ahead. Coming through the forest was a frost giant. It stomped its way forward until it came to Keris and Bors. It easily stood higher than 3 men. Every time it breathed out, Keris could feel an icy chill creep across her skin. It growled as it looked down upon the 2 of them, and Keris felt the same chill seep down into her bones.
Any chance we could talk things out with this guy?
She asked Bors. Bors just shook his head. They used to shun people, but now Morgana's done something, stirred them up. Keris sighed.
I'll distract it, then you attack.
Wait! Before Bors could say anything else, Keris had charged forward, snow kicking up behind her. She headed straight for the frost giant. The monster bared its teeth and lifted up a humongous icy axe. As soon as the frost giant swung its axe downward, Keris shifted and rolled, diving behind a tree as the axe thudded into the ground where she'd just been.
Are you waiting for an invitation?
Keris shouted from behind her tree. Bors shook his head and rushed forth. He smashed his hammer against the giant's hand and felt a cold wind sting his face as the monster roared. When the giant tried to lift his axe back up, Bors brought his hammer down to catch the axe by its head and keep it planted in the ground. He put all his weight on the hammer, but Bors wasn't heavy enough to stop the frost giant. He could feel himself being lifted into the air. The frost giant stepped forward, but now Keris was there at its heels. She began to hack at the tendons along the back of the giant's ankles. The giant let out a howl, tried to step forward again, and collapsed, nearly crushing Bors. Almost in unison, Bors and Keris struck at the monster's head. Then the 2 of them fell back, gasping for breath. Oh, you don't fight like a lady, Bors grunted after he regained his breath.
Thanks.
Keris grinned.
You don't fight like an old man. Wait, look at that.
The reindeer had returned to the scene of their battle. It kept a distance from them, but didn't run.
Merlin said the reindeer would lead us to this lord.
Keris mused. Let's go then, Bors replied. The reindeer always kept a good few paces ahead of them, but never so far that they lost sight of it. After a long walk, the reindeer stopped before a large fortress nestled between 2 mountains, buttressed by ice and snow. The doorway alone was larger than a house. This must be the fortress of the frost giants, where their king dwells. Bors fingered the handle of his hammer.
There's no way we can win with a frontal assault,
Keris said.
But this place is so big we could probably sneak in and get the captive out without the frost giants ever noticing us.
Fine, Boris said after thinking it over. They waited until after nightfall, then climbed over a wall of ice and into the fortress. Inside, it was cold enough to sting their lungs with every breath. They could hear the snores of frost giants echoing down the cavernous stone halls. They crept from one great hall to another until they came upon a cage in the back of the fortress. Inside the cage, a chubby old man with a large white beard was waiting for them. He wore a red robe and hat with lots of white fur, and a large sack rested at his feet. He didn't look worried. Instead, Keris thought, he looked downright jolly. My friend Merlin must have sent you to help me get out of here. I must say, you're just in time. It's almost Christmas.
Christmas?
Asked. Yes, Christmas. My name is Santa Claus. You may have heard of me. Morgana wanted to stop me from delivering presents to all the lords in the kingdom this year. So she convinced these frightful frost giants to lock me up. But if you get me out of here now, there's still time for me to make my deliveries. I don't see a lock on your cage, Bors said. Oh, there is none, my boy. These frost giants just twisted the bars together. My battle hammer is blessed by the Lady of the Lake. It'll have the strength to break the bars, but the noise will awaken the frost giants, Bors replied. Just get me out of the cage, and I'll see if I can't reach an agreement with the giants, Santa said with a chuckle. Keris and Bors looked at each other and shrugged. Bors picked up his hammer and swung it against the bars hard. They buckled, but didn't break. Bors swung again, and this time they came apart. He could hear his blow ringing through the fortress halls. Behind them, the pounding of feet reverberated across the ground. Santa Claus picked his sack up off the ground and stepped out of the cage. Welcome, welcome! Santa smiled and waved. Bors and Keris turned to see the largest frost giant either of them had ever laid eyes upon, a crown of solid ice upon his head. At his feet tottered a baby frost giant, already a head taller than any of them. You try to escape? I stop you all, the frost giant roared. Now, I just wanted a chance to give you a gift. Santa Claus pulled an enormous battle axe made of glittering gold from his sack. And of course, something for your son, Santa continued. He pulled out an intricately carved frost giant warrior that was nearly the size of Keris. The baby frost giant's eyes widened at the sight of it. My king, Santa said, whatever promises Morgana made to you, she's sure to break them. End your deal with her. Let us go, and I'd be glad to leave you these gifts as a token of our appreciation. There's no need to continue attacking us humans. While the frost giant considered the offer, his son proved less patient. Daddy, I want warrior. I want him. The child beat at his father's legs and stomped his feet, crying endlessly until the king gave in. Fine. You humans stay away. We do same. No more help, Morgana. Too many of our kind dead anyway. Now, give us gifts. They walked out of the fortress, hearing the sound of the young frost giant giggling in delight behind them. You solved a big problem for us. The frost giants were getting out of control, Bors told Santa. It's only fair, Santa said. Now, I know it's a little early, but how about I give you your gifts now?
I don't know about Bors over here, but I won't say no,
Keris said. I don't need anything, Bors replied. I'm sure I could find you something, Santa smiled. But first, Lady Keris, you have the soul of a true warrior, and you deserve a sword to match. Like your spirit, this is stronger and sharper than any man's. Santa passed her a gleaming blade of incredible workmanship, and she hefted it with wonder. And now, Bors the Elder, for you I have a very special gift indeed. I know all you seek is to see your sons again, and I'm sure you'll finally be able to return soon. But in the meantime, I hope this will do. Santa passed Bors a small crystal globe. Bors looked at it, puzzled, and then saw first Lionel, and then Bors the Younger inside, as vividly as if they were right there. He stared at his two sons, entranced. Finally, Bors looked up to thank Santa, only to see him hopping on his sleigh, the reindeers already mounted. All Bors could do was watch and wave as Santa rode up and away into the snowy night sky, and hear him call out, Merry Christmas to all in Avalon! Ho, ho, ho!